6:45, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madhavala, read by Soundit Avam. The President emphasizes that the renewal of knowledge stands as a pivotal task within the realm of education. The National Alutsahal Mangalaya will be held in Anuradhapura today. Sri Lanka and Switzerland commit to expanding relations. Korean job opportunities in new fields. The government settles foreign debt and interest to the tune of $1,909.7 million. In foreign news, the Israel Army sacks officers over the world's central kitchen convoy attack. In sports, Lionesses held by Sweden in Euro 2025 qualifier. President Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasized that the renewal of knowledge stands as a pivotal task within the realm of education, underscoring the trajectory towards a knowledge-based society for the nation's advancement over the next 75 years. Acknowledging the burgeoning role of modern technology and knowledge as the new pillars of education, he warned that irrespective of economic prowess, failure to synchronize with global transformations would impede progress. These sentiments were voiced during his participation in the 2022 annual prize-giving ceremony at Sirimavo Bandaranaike Vidyalaya, Colombo earlier yesterday. The President's arrival at the school was met with enthusiastic reception from students as the Senior Western Band, Senior Eastern Band and the dance team escorted him to the event. During the ceremony, President Wickremesinghe awarded prizes to female students who excelled across all subjects in the 2022 A-level examination, alongside commendations for the teachers who facilitated their success and to those who demonstrated exemplary attendance. The Alutsahal Mangalaya will be held today in honor of the Anuradhapura Jayashree Bodhi under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. This Alutsahal Mangalaya, organized by the Department of Agricultural Development, is held for the 57th time with the participation of the Agriculture and Plantation Industries Minister Mahinda Amaravira and many other ministers. At this event, farmers from all parts of the country come to Anuradhapura to offer rice collected from every agrarian service centre in the country to the Jayashree Mahabodhi. The purpose of this new rice festival is to ensure the prosperity of the crops for the upcoming Yalla season and to seek the blessings of the Buddha for the production of food for the consumption of the farmers as well as all the people of the country. The fourth round of bilateral consultations between Sri Lanka and Switzerland took place yesterday in Colombo. The meeting, co-chaired by the ambassador, head of the Asia-Pacific at the Swiss Federal Department of Foreign Affairs, Henrik Skallenberg, and Additional Secretary, Bilateral of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Sri Lanka, Yasoja Gunasekara. The delegations discussed potential to further enhance economic relations. Sri Lanka appreciated the Swiss assistance extended to the Export Developmental Board in identifying further markets for the Sri Lankan exports and proposed collaboration in the textile industry. The two countries agreed to work towards and to explore diversifying trade relations and further potential in the tourism sector. Sri Lanka appreciated the long-standing Swiss support in the area of labour migration. Both sides acknowledged the positive impact of this collaboration in ensuring safe labour migration. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The special luxury tourist train Dunhinda Odyssey was launched last morning to mark the centenary of the inception of train services on the Colombo-Badulla line. The maiden journey of the Dunhinda Odyssey kicked off at the Colombo Fort Railway Station at 6:30 a.m. this morning under the patronage of the Minister of Transport and Highways Bandula Gunawardena. The Dunhinda Odyssey is the third of the Odyssey train series launched by the Sri Lanka Railways aimed at facilitating tourists, and it comes years after the launch of the Alla Odyssey and Sitavaka Odyssey. Set to dedicated for passenger transportation following the inauguration, the train fare for a first-class ticket will be 8,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees for second class, while a third-class ticket will be priced at 5,000 rupees between Colombo Fort to Badulla and Alla. The train service will operate from Colombo Fort to Badulla every Tuesday, Friday and Sunday at 6:30 a.m. and from Badulla to Colombo Fort every Monday, Wednesday and Saturday at 8 a.m. The train will stop at tourist attractions and viewpoints along the way, including Horsetail Falls, Adam Peak, St. Clair's Falls, Elgin Falls, Summit Level, Tunnel number 18, Idalgashinna Wind Gap, Kithal El Falls, 9 Arch Bridge and the Modra Loop. The train consists of 4 first-class cabins, 3 second-class cabins and 1 third-class cabin with a canteen. The President, Director General of Community Affairs, Rajit Kirti Tennakoon, stated that between President Ranil Wickremesinghe's assumption of office and February 2024, the government of Sri Lanka has settled a total of $1,909.7 million in foreign debt and interest payments. He also highlighted that from July 21, 2022 to February 2024, the government has disbursed $1,338.8 million in multilateral loans and interests, with no outstanding arrears in loan installments or interest payments up to February 2024. He conveyed this information during a special media statement yesterday. That concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
The meeting between the Korean Prime Minister Han Duck-soo and Sri Lankan Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena was held Thursday at the Prime Minister's office in Seoul. The Korean Prime Minister stated at the meeting that many new job opportunities will be opened for Sri Lanka, in addition to the labour force that provides jobs for agriculture, construction and other industries in his country. The Korean Prime Minister also mentioned the possibility of providing new jobs for health services and professional services. The Korean Prime Minister said that his country, as a member of the Paris Club, will always stand therein for Sri Lanka, which is recovering from the recent financial crisis, to successfully carry out its future activities. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Watch Life is brought to you by
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
The Sri Lanka Navy apprehended 7 persons for their involvement in illegal fishing using unauthorized fishing gear during a search operation conducted in the Ratkala Sea, Trincomalee, in the dark hours of 4th April 2024. A dinghy and unauthorized fishing equipment used for this illegal act was also taken into naval custody during this operation. The Sri Lanka Navy remains vigilant and conducting operations to combat illegal fishing in its sea and coastal areas, while also supporting legal fishing activities. That came to you in Watchlight, a bulletin of world news up next.
CIB Navy offer valuable gifts and gift vouchers, 25% discount for bank cards till 10th of April. Visit CIB today. CIB revives once always.
Coming up, world news.
Making headlines this morning, Israel Army sacks officers over World Central Kitchen convoy attack. Thousands evacuated after Russian dam breached. Watchers, cars and villas seized in cross-border fraud raids. 2 senior Israeli military officers have been sacked after 7 aid workers were killed in missile strikes in the Gaza Strip. The Israel Defense Forces called the killing of staff from the World Central Kitchen a grave accident. Drone operators did not follow rules and thought World Central Kitchen cars were carrying Hamas gunmen, its inquiry says. The World Central Kitchen called the IDF's apology cold comfort for the aid workers' families and urged an independent investigation. The Israel Defense Forces launched an internal investigation into the deaths after coming under intense international pressure to explain the circumstances. Its findings were published on Friday, alongside an admission of serious failure and the announcement that an Israel Defense Forces colonel and major were being dismissed as a result. Thousands of people are being evacuated in the Russian Urals after a section of the embankment dam burst in the mountain city of Orsk, officials say. Heavy earth-moving machinery is on site trying to shore up the dam. Earlier, an emergency was declared across the entire Orenburg region after levels in the Ural River rose dangerously because of melting ice. Officials say 10,000 residents may be in the flooding zone and up to 4,000 houses could be inundated. Russian state media said residents of 2 of the 3 districts of Orsk were being evacuated. Court citizens of the Leninsky and Sovietsky districts of Orsk are being evacuated to temporary accommodation centers, and court, the regional prosecutor's office said in a message. The police across Europe have seized luxury flats, villas, Rolex watches and sports cars in raids on an alleged criminal network. Some 22 arrests were made on Thursday after officers swooped in Italy, Austria, Romania and Slovakia. 8 suspects have been detained, while 14 were placed under house arrest. The group is suspected of embezzling €600 million from an Italian COVID recovery fund between 2021 and 2023. The raids were carried out as part of large-scale international investigation led by the European Public Prosecutor's Office in Venice. Officers worked with police forces across Europe to carry out dozens of raids and recover millions in assets. Back to the headlines of the world news. Israel Army sacks officers over World Central Kitchen convoy attack. Thousands evacuated after Russian dam breached. And watches, cars, villas seized in cross-border fraud raids. That concludes this bulletin of world news, and on to development news. The chairman of the Paddy Marketing Board, Buddhika Iddamalgoda, said that the Paddy Marketing Board was able to purchase 4 million kilograms of paddy by Thursday. Yesterday afternoon, a progress review meeting was held at the Ministry of Agriculture regarding the paddy purchases made by the Paddy Marketing Board. The discussion was chaired by the Minister of Agriculture and Plantation Industries, Mahinda Amaravira, and the Minister inquired from the chairman of the PMB regarding the purchase of paddy during the Sinhala and Tamil New Year festive season. Accordingly, the chairman informed that the Paddy Marketing Board had purchased 4 million kilograms of paddy and that there is sufficient financial provision for the purchase of paddy. That came to you in development news. Sports news up next.
Moving on with sports news.
England's defence of their European title got off to a disappointing start at the Wembley Stadium as they were held to a draw by Sweden in their first Euro 2025 qualifier. Alessia Russo nodded in Lauren James's clever cross in the first half, but Sweden equalised through Fridolina Rolfo later on when she crept in behind Barcelona teammate Lucy Bronze to head in at the back post. It was an unconvincing performance from Sarina Wigman's side, who had been drawn in a tough qualifying group with 2 of the world's top 6, and know they need to take advantage at home. In a repeat of the Euro 2022 semi-final, in which England thrashed Sweden 4-0, this was a much more evenly balanced encounter, with Sweden carrying great threat on the counter-attack. That's sports news. We take a look at business news next.
Go ekaktiana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyamata set wenna friendship එක menna.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Samsung Electronics says it expects its profits for the first 3 months of 2024 to jump by more than tenfold compared to a year earlier. It comes as prices of chips have recovered from a post-pandemic slump and demand for artificial intelligence-related products booms. South Korea-based Samsung is the world's largest maker of memory chips, smartphones and televisions. The company is scheduled to release a detailed financial report on the 30th of April and came to you in business news.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekaktiana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyamata set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyamata set wenna friendship එක menna.
The all new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
On to economic news. Vegetable prices in the Dambulla Economic Centre have dropped to its lowest after about 10 years yesterday. The traders at the Dambulla Economic Centre said that the price has come down due to the increase in the amount of vegetables received at the centre daily. The prices of vegetables, which rose rapidly to very high amounts in the past, have now reached an all-time low. The lowest vegetable prices had been recorded in Dambulla Economic Centre after about 10 years, the traders said. Another reason for the prices of vegetables to have come down to an all-time low amounts have been described as the decrease in the number of traders coming to the centre to buy vegetables. And that's economic news.
Weather report.
Showers or thundershows will occur at a few places in the western, Sabragamo and northwestern provinces also in the Galle and Marturi districts after 2 p.m. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, central and Sabragama provinces, also in the Galle and Marturi districts during the morning. On the apparent northward relative motion of the sun, it is going to be directly over the latitudes of Sri Lanka during 5th to the 15th of April this year. The nearest areas of Sri Lanka over which the sun is overhead today are Lellopitiya, Balangoda, Bulat Sinhala, Kaltotta and Vadua at about 12:12 noon. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The President emphasizes that the renewal of knowledge stands as a pivotal task within the realm of education. The National Alutsahal Mangalaya will be held in Anuradhapura today. Sri Lanka and Switzerland commit to expanding relations. Korean job opportunities in new fields. The government settles foreign debt and interest to the tune of $1,909.7 million. Israel Army sacks officers over the World Central Kitchen convoy attack. And Lionesses held by Sweden in Euro 2025 qualifier. With that, we conclude this morning's news broadcast, and now it's back to Sanal to keep you well entertained on a fabulous Saturday morning. Good morning, Sanal, and it's all yours.